Gupta ji. And I acknowledge the presence of our Honorable CA Abhinav Agarwal ji, Chairman NIRC of ICAI. I also acknowledge the efforts of the program coordinator, CA Navya Malhotra, Secretary NIRC of ICAI. When the profile of our guest speaker was given to me, then I read the whole profile, and it was very long profile, and I really find it very motivational. Then one thought came to me that there is lot of input actually in the CA advocate Gaurav Gupta ji, and now he is giving or delivering or serving the output out of that. So what inputs I find in him, the first input he is having through the Shri Ram College of Commerce, Delhi University, the first achievement of his career which I found. Then the law from the Delhi University, the prime institute of our country. Then LLM from the OP Jindal University, and then the doctorate from the University of France. So with this all, and then the most premium qualification he possesses, that is the Chartered Accountancy. That is, he is a member of Institute of Chartered Accountants of India. So he's the fellow member. So with all these inputs, what he is doing, that he is serving for in the field of indirect taxation for the past 18 years. And one of the most achievements is that he is serving his clients in the Honorable Delhi High Court. And he's also today's series, the Gurukul series. So I also consider him as a guru as well. So he's the faculty in institute as well, and he's giving sessions to the various commissionerates of the GST. And then he has written various books actually. There is a long list of the books which was given to me. But I'm just referring in generalizing it that he has authored and co-authored various books. Then he has delivered more than 600 seminars at various platforms. One of the premier institutes or the associations like the SOCHM, PhD, Institute of Chartered Accountants, and various other institutes. So, sir, we are thankful to you for sparing your valuable time and again serving the institute and imparting your session on the most important topic, that is appeals. Sir, over to you.
Payal ji, thank you so much for your moderation. But before we proceed further and we are eager to hear Gaurav ji, I would request Pawan ji, the chairman, to please share his words of wisdom to all the participants before we formally proceed. Pawan ji, please.
जी सर। सर, जैसा कि मैम ने बताया हुआ है इसके अपने सेमिनार के रिगार्डिंग, आजकल जैसे फिजिकल सेमिनार में काफी मेंबर्स नहीं प्रेजेंट हो पाते, तो जो वेबिनार सीरीज का काफी अच्छा वो है, और इससे हमें ऑफिस के उसके हिसाब से भी हमारे मेंबर अटेंड कर सकते हैं। और अभिनव जी ने ये काफी अच्छा इनिशिएटिव स्टार्ट किया है इसके रिगार्डिंग। पहले भी काफी सेमिनार होते रहे हैं, और अभी जो ये जीएसटी के रिगार्डिंग अभी हमारे केस भी चल रहे हैं असेसमेंट, जैसे कल 30 तारीख लास्ट डेट थी 18-19 के लिए, उस हिसाब से हमें काफी बेनिफिशियल रहेगा, और ये अभिनव भाई की अच्छी शुरुआत है इसके रिगार्डिंग।
थैंक यू पवन जी। और मैं पहले तो तहे दिल से धन्यवाद करना चाहता हूँ सबका कि आप लोग इतना कोलैबोरेटिवली चल रहे हैं, और चेयरमैन ने जितने इनिशिएटिव्स लिए हैं वो उनके आसपास दिख रहे हैं। मैं हमेशा ही बोलता हूँ लेफ्ट और राइट में हमारे सारे इनिशिएटिव चेयरमैन के दिख रहे होते हैं, तो द चेयरमैन इज ऑलवेज ईगर टू वर्क फॉर द प्रोफेशन। आई रिक्वेस्ट अभिनव जी, प्लीज आप भी सर सबको थोड़ा सा एनलाइटन करके चार्ज कर दीजिए सर।
थैंक यू नभा जी। मैसेज आ रहा है तारा जी का कि वी नीड टू स्पीक, स्पीकर गौरव जी के लिए सुनने के लिए सारे मेंबर्स वेट कर रहे हैं, तो फिर मैंने अब देता। आई वेलकम गौरव जी एंड अवर पवन जी, चेयरमैन ऑफ रेवाड़ी ब्रांच, एंड अवर moderator of this session, CA Payal ji, Navya ji, my secretary. I welcome all of you and our all esteemed members of this today's session. I welcome all of you in our Gurukul series online bootcamp on GST. मैं बहुत सारी सीरीज है इनके बारे में अब नहीं बताता आपको, जो हमारी 8 सीरीज है, डिफरेंट सीरीज है, जिनमें हम क्या क्या कर रहे हैं. बस मैं आपको 2 चीजें बताना चाहूंगा जो हमारे अपकमिंग सेमिनार्स है उनके बारे में, जो कल सुबह मॉर्निंग में 9:15 पे हमारा स्टार्ट है फ्रांसिस्को के साथ, फ्रॉम सिलिकॉन वैली टू NIRC. तो सैन फ्रांसिस्को के साथ हमारा ये बहुत बड़ा एक नया इनिशिएटिव है जो हमने ग्लोबल कनेक्ट की सीरीज के अंदर करा है. तो आप मेंबर्स से सबसे मेरी रिक्वेस्ट है कि मॉर्निंग में 9:15 पे से ज्वाइन कर लीजिएगा. और एक हमारा फिजिकल सेमिनार है जो हमारा 4 तारीख को क्राउन प्लाजा में ऑन अवर टॉपिक डिसिप्लिनरी मैटर्स के ऊपर है. इसके अलावा बाकी सारी जितने भी डिटेल्स है मैं आपको टाइम टू टाइम व्हाट्सएप पे और डिफरेंट सोशल मीडिया के प्लेटफॉर्म से शेयर करता रहता हूँ. तो जो भी आपके इनपुट्स हो प्लीज मेरे को अपडेट करते रहिएगा. और ये सीरीज जो है आज इसका 2nd डे है. कल हमारे स्पीकर आएंगे आयुष सराफ जी, तो प्लीज आप ज्वाइन कीजिए और इंटरेक्शन कीजिए. थैंक यू. लेट्स ओवर टू गौरव.
थैंक यू सो मच चेयरमैन. एंड फिर रिक्वेस्ट करना चाहूँगा गौरव जी, जिनको सब सुनना चाह रहे हैं और सब सर आपके लिए मतलब बहुत ज़्यादा एक्साइटेड है कि आप अपने जो टॉपिक हैं उसके लिए डेलिब्रेशन करें. प्लीज़ सर, हैंडिंग ओवर टू यू सर. एंड पायल जी प्लीज़ आप साथ साथ क्वेश्चंस और मॉडरेट करवा दीजिएंगे सर के. जी
श्योर सर.
Thank you, Navya ji. Respected Chairman, NIRC of ICI, CA Abhinav Agarwal ji. Respected Secretary, NIRC of ICI, CA Navya Malhotra ji. All other ex-officios in absentia. CA Pavan Kumar ji, Chairman, Rewari Branch. CA CS Kataria ji, moderator for today. And all the learned members. At the outset, I thank the respected chairman and the secretary to organize this series and give me this opportunity to share my viewpoint on this very critical topic, the appeals. I think all of the members, with the permission of chairman and secretary, sir, Abhinav bhai, shuru kiya jaye na?
Yes,
please sir.
ठीक है. So this particular technical topic, as we all understand, now it is the time that we are filing our first appeals. We have the first orders which were made for financial year 17-18 under section 73 by various officers. And those particular orders, the appeals were to be filed within a particular period. Now, what was that particular period? What appeals are to be filed? What issues, predicaments we have to take care? All of them will be the discussion for today. So before we begin, I also request members that we have to be more interactive. If you have any questions, we can put it in the chat box. और पायल जी से मेरा अनुरोध रहेगा कि वो क्वेश्चंस अगर लेना चाहें तो बीच में ले सकते. अपील्स अगर हम देखें डियर फ्रेंड्स, तो हमारी जो एपेलेट की पूरी चेन है वो है फर्स्ट एपेलेट अथॉरिटी, देन वी हैव एपेलेट ट्राइब्यूनल व्हिच इज नॉट इन प्लेस एज ऑफ नाउ, देन द अपील विल लाई टू द हाई कोर्ट एंड देन टू द सुप्रीम कोर्ट. Now, appellate tribunal, I will not be speaking much on that for the very simple reason that body is yet not constituted, even though the notification for the benches has been issued. However, the appointment of the members, the setting up of the infrastructure, the admissions or the filing of the appeals are yet not started. So we are into a big vacuum, a big void, that after the first appellate authority, there is no second appellate authority vis-a-vis tribunal where the assessee can take forward the appeal, or where for that matter the department can take forward the appeal. So that particular part, I think we'll not be speaking much on that, but if members have any questions, हम उन questions को जरूर take up करें. हमारा focus आज का जो रहेगा mainly वो first appellate authority के लिए रहेगा, और एक issue किन मुद्दों पर we should approach the first appellate authority और किन मुद्दों पर we should go to the Honorable High Court, evoking the writ jurisdiction under Article 226 of the Constitution. Now, having spoken on the different series, the first appellate authority, we all understand that the appeal is done under section 107, and the appeal has to be filed within 3 months from the date when the order is communicated to us. Now, the language of section 107, as we all see, is very, very simple. Any person aggrieved by any decision or order passed under this Act or the State GST Act or the UT GST Act by an adjudicating authority may appeal to such appellate authority as may be prescribed within 3 months from the date on which the said decision or order is communicated to the person. Now, my dear friends, a very simple language has been used in 107, but a lot of questions crop up from this particular language. The first important term which has been used in this particular section is any person aggrieved. Now, this is a very wide kind of a connotation which has been provided by this section. Any person aggrieved, इसके अंदर कौन-कौन आ सकता है सर? मेरे अगेंस्ट एक डिमांड अगर एक ऑफिसर ने पास कर दिया, डेफिनेटली that particular assessee can be an aggrieved person. There can be a person जिसके अगेंस्ट कोई डिमांड नहीं रेज करी गई, बट उस पर्टिकुलर व्यक्ति के अगेंस्ट कोई पेनल्टी किसी प्रोसीडिंग्स के अंदर की गई. तो फॉर एग्जांपल, एक कंपनी के अंदर डायरेक्टर्स हैं और डायरेक्टर्स के ऊपर द ऑफिसर हैज इम्पोज्ड अ पेनल्टी अंडर 122(1)(a) or for that matter 122(3) subsection 3. Now, in these particular cases, though that particular person, that particular amount, that particular penalty, he will be a person aggrieved. He has his own different cause, which is different from the company on which the demand and penalty has been imposed under 73 or for that matter 122(1). So a person first has to be very clear that there is no conjoint action in terms of appeal when a separate order has been passed confirming a penalty against a particular person. Maybe the cause is arising out of a particular same set of facts. Similar will be a case when you will find, I'll not put it in a generic manner, a person who is only a person who has abetted in a evasion of tax. So 122(1)(a) will be applicable in that particular case. Those particular people will also be covered within the ambit of this particular provision. Now, friends, the word which is used is any person. It is not saying any registered person. There is some technical difficulty which I will just discuss in some time, which can come forward or which can come forth before both the officer as well as that unregistered person. But barring that, the section does not put a bar that an unregistered person, number one, no tax can be confirmed against him, and number two, he cannot go into appeal. So both the actions are possible under the two sections. If you see, both under section 73, 74, or for that matter under section 107. Right, sir? So appeal can be done by any person aggrieved. Now I am widening this connotation to another person, another set of category. That particular person will be a person. So suppose I am a buyer. I have been told that the registration of my supplier has been cancelled retrospectively, and because of which my GST input tax credit is being denied. Am I a person aggrieved? Yes, sir, I am a person aggrieved. Can I go for an appeal against the order of retrospective cancellation of my supplier? Sir, this is again being tested in the court, but my humble view I am presenting. The courts might take a lenient view, might take a kind view, because there is a lot of input tax credit which is at stake for a person. But barring that, my reading of this particular section says any person aggrieved by any decision or order passed under this Act by an adjudicating authority may appeal to such appellate authority as may be prescribed within 3 months from the date on which such decision or order is communicated to such person. So maybe I am aggrieved with that particular order of cancellation, retrospective cancellation of my supplier. The basic question is, was that decision or order ever communicated to me? The answer will be negative. That order has never been communicated to me. And since that order has not been communicated to me, the precondition of Section 107 is not fulfilled, and therefore it is not an appealable order vis-a-vis the buyer. I hope I am very, very clear. The second angle which comes out to be that unless that particular order is served on you, that particular order is communicated to you, there is no need to make an appeal. How is it possible, sir, that no order is communicated? Sir, there are two sets of orders which were issued by the officers. One set of officers were issuing the order with the summary of the order in DRC 07 and uploading both the order and the summary on the portal. When we say portal, we mean the common portal gst.gov.in, on which all communications between the buyer and the, not the buyer, sorry, all the registered persons and the government takes place. So filing, appellate, dates, everything is now electronic. It's not faceless, it's electronic. Now, that particular set of officers, they were uploading those particular orders electronically, but there were another set of officers who were not uploading the orders electronically. The first question which comes to everybody's mind, what will be the correct method of service? More particularly, when we all understand that there are various modes of service which has been provided in the statute, and the choice has been given in terms of any. So when we speak about service of notice, we will refer to Section 169. Any decision, order, summon, notice, or other communication under the Act shall be served by any one of the following methods. So it is not in the same hierarchy which is provided. It is giving a choice to the officer that it can be made. Yes, under the erstwhile law, excise or service tax, we need to follow the hierarchy because there was the wordings were a bit different. But will that particular orders will be followed in GST? Time will tell, because there are certain choices which looks like that they should be resorted only in case if the initially given methodologies are not available. So the first method which has been provided is to give it by hand, tendering directly by the hand to the person or to his agent. Second, by a registered post or a speed post or courier with acknowledgement due. If it is by a normal post, it will not be called a service. Number three, by sending a communication to the mail provided at the time of registration or as amended from time to time. So that particular mail ID will be taken only from your GST portal. No other IDs will be taken and no other IDs will be available. Now, one can understand the gravity or the importance of that particular email ID. There are times when we note that some accountants, and in some very few cases, it has come to the knowledge that some chartered accountants has also given their email ID in the registration or amended registration of their clients. My dear friends, at this particular juncture, let me put it very clear, don't give your email IDs for your clients for the registered taxable person, because the communications will be made to your email ID and that will be taken as a valid service. Tomorrow, by any chance, if suppose 3 months lapses plus one more month in terms of condonation, 4 months lapses, there may be costs which may be imposed by the honorable courts for non-communication of such particular communication to the client. So be a bit sensitive when you give. You are actually inviting all the responsibilities on yourself. Always give your client's email ID in GST registration. Any communication which is received is his responsibility, and it has to be communicated by the client to you, not vice versa. Right, sir? Moving further. Fourth method of service of notice is by making it available on the common. Fifth, by publication in the newspaper. And last, by affixing it on the conspicuous place as last known place of business or residence of such particular person. Now, 6 choices have been given. Can the officer straight away opt for the 6th one, go and paste it on the door of the business premises, the entire show cause notice? Can he resort to? looks illogical. But if you look into the very plain language of the section, it does give the choice. But we know that while the choices are given by the statute, there is a procedure which is prescribed by the rules. So before concluding that all the options are available to the officer, one must visit Rule 142. And Rule 142 restricts the choice. Rule 142, more particularly 1A, Sub-Rule 1A. Now, in that particular sub-rule, the rules narrows down the choice of the officer, and it is being said that that particular officer shall inform or issuance of such particular show cause notice electronically. Now, this particular word, the communication has to be made electronically on the portal, was again in dilemma that can it be through mail or it has to be through the portal. Sir, this electronically word right now is being looked at by both mail and the portal as two choices. But if you read the preceding word which has been given, it is not an open thing. It has to be uploaded electronically. So both the things, the proper officer shall serve along with the notice under section 73 or 74, a summary thereof electronically in DRC 01 and statement under subsection 73 or 74, a summary thereof in form DRC 02 specifying therein the amount payable. So this one word electronically has been deciphered by the courts in many cases, more particularly starting with Madhya Pradesh High Court in the case of Sham Baba edible oil, wherein the Honorable High Court says the only option available with the officer is to upload it on the portal, and the portal will then trigger a mail and an SMS that a particular action or an order has been issued against such particular person. That intimation will go through the mail and SMS as is being done today. So what will be the fate of all the notices or orders which have been issued non-electronically, meaning thereby manually, and served through post, mails, or any other method? Sir, in that particular case, those notices will not be considered as proper notices. More particularly, even if show cause notice for one moment, we can still, somebody can contest, sir, electronically means mail also. Sir, we'll live with you. We still give you two choices. Other choices are ruled out. In case of an order under section 73(10), the summary of that particular order has to be uploaded electronically. Now, this is very, very clear that it has to be uploaded electronically. By word uploaded, the choice of mail has gone out. And this has been confirmed. This has been confirmed by the board, CBEC, via their instruction number 4/2023. Two paragraphs of that particular instructions are very, very important. In para number 3 acknowledges it has been brought to the notice of the board that some of the field formations are serving such notices and orders manually only and are not serving the summary of the notices. So two problems, दो problem instruction ने acknowledge करी. Number one, कि जो notices और orders हैं वो manually issue हो रहे हैं और उनके साथ उनके summaries नहीं serve हो रही. उसका resolution discussion के बाद पैरा नंबर 5 में as instruction number 4/2023 ने दिया और उसने क्या कहा? The proper officers are accordingly directed to ensure that the summary of the notices issued under all those sections, the couple of sections are mentioned there, are served electronically on the portal. So it has been made very clearly, it is not by mail, it has to be served electronically in the portal. So show cause notice in DRC 01 and also the order, summary of order, which will be issued under the respective section is uploaded in DRC 07. So both the things, the notice and the order, has to go through electronic portal only. If there is a manual service of any show cause notice, अगर आपके किसी भी client के पास manual show cause notice आता है, do a very simple thing. Make a letter, quote instruction number 4/2023, bring it to the knowledge of the officer that this is not the proper service and this particular notice will not be replied unless properly served, and this is as per the instruction number 4/2023 of issued by CBIC. So this will, the officer will be duty bound to put it in the correct format and upload it electronically. Friends, there are two benefits to that. Number one, whenever the notice is uploaded electronically, the person will get an email and SMS that there is some action which has been taken by the department, whether it is a notice or order. So due intimation. So many times we are confronted with the question, and this has come up with before the courts also, that sir, not all the times you can sit before this computer and check our notices and order. So to overcome that particular plight of the assessee, problem of the assessee, and more importantly, the defense of the department, the department has, through GSTN, made a facility that whenever the order or the notice is uploaded, the intimation is given by SMS and email to the client. आपके पास दोनों तरीके से इंटीमेशन आएगी, मेल से भी और SMS से भी. अब वो मेल और SMS कौन सा होगा? मेल और SMS वो होगा जो आपके GST पोर्टल के ऊपर आपने दिया होगा. I think at the inception, Payal ji also requested me to speak in a mix of Hindi and English. I understand कि मेरा बीच में काफी पार्ट कुछ इंग्लिश में ज्यादा चला जाएगा. क्यों? उसका रीजन ये है कि जहां पे भी सेक्शंस की कोटिंग आएगी या जहां पे भी एक पर्टिकुलर प्रोविजन की बात होगी, थोड़ा सा उसको हम इंग्लिश में रखेंगे. अदरवाइज व्हेन वी विल टेक अप क्वेश्चन एंड आंसर, और फॉर दैट मैटर एनी एक्सप्लेनेशन इज टू बी गिवन, मैं कोशिश करूंगा कि मैं दोनों का मिक्स ज्यादा से ज्यादा आप सबके साथ रख सकूं. सो पायल जी, आई टेक केयर ऑफ दैट. सो ऑन दिस पर्टिकुलर पॉइंट, जो नोटिस की बात थी, ये ध्यान रखिएगा, SMS और ईमेल के ऊपर जो इंटीमेशन आ जाती है, उसके बाद उनकी जो जिम्मेवारी है, डिपार्टमेंट का जो ओनस है, वो कंप्लीट हो जाता है. डिपार्टमेंट का ओनस उसके बाद ये नहीं रहता कि आपने नोटिस देखा कि नहीं देखा. सर मैंने तो कभी क्लिक ही नहीं करा. सर दैट इज योर प्रॉब्लम. You have been told by department very, very clearly through SMS and email, and courts will not take a soft position on that after that particular due intimation. Sir, वो email ID और जो SMS था, वो accountant का था, accountant छोड़ के चला गया. Sir, then also you have a facility. You have to, number one, get that particular SMS and email ID immediately rectified with the department. Sir, it cannot be done without the old. Sir, it can be done. You write a letter to the jurisdictional officer. He has the option to change it when he will be given a valid ground that this particular email ID and this SMS facility is going to a wrong person. Number two, when it is uploaded electronically, your entire summary and everything will be in a proper manner. हमने बहुत बारी देखा है, कॉमन शो कॉज बना देता है डिपार्टमेंट 15-20 लोगों का. अब 15-20 लोगों का जब आपका शो कॉज बनता है, यू हैव नॉट सीन दोस काइंड्स ऑफ शो कॉज. बट उस केस में क्या होता है, सपोज एक डायरेक्टर है, कंपनी 15 जगह रजिस्टर्ड है, 15 प्लेसेस इन इंडिया, एंड हैविंग 15 डिफरेंट GSTN. नाउ he want to impose a penalty under section 122 subsection 3. In those particular cases, he will impose on the director for every defaulting GSTN a separate penalty under 122 subsection 3. तो जब जब वो 122 सबसेक्शन 3 के अंडर पेनल्टी इंपोज करेगा, एक ही डायरेक्टर के ऊपर 15 बार 50,000 रुपए की पेनल्टी आ गई अंडर 122(3). नाउ माय डियर फ्रेंड्स, दैट पर्टिकुलर फैसिलिटी व्हेन इट इज अपलोडेड इलेक्ट्रॉनिकली, आपको वो डिमांड अलग अलग बिल्कुल क्लियरली उसके शो कॉज के साथ पता चलेगी. अदरवाइज क्या होगा, यू विल नॉट बी एबल टू डिसाइफर द एग्जैक्ट अमाउंट एंड देयर कैन बी सम एरर्स. If it is a manual show cause notice, there can be some errors which can be made by the person responding to those show cause notice कि कितनी अमाउंट्स उसकी पेनल्टी की उसके अगेंस्ट है। कई बार एक सिंगल लाइन में कहीं पे छोटा सा लिखा होता है, पेनल्टी अंडर सेक्शन 122 1A शुड नॉट बी इम्पोज्ड ऑन द पर्सन। सर व्हाई दी स्मॉल लाइंस, यू गिव अस अ समरी। आप हमें समरी दीजिए उसकी, उसके अंदर बड़ा क्लियरली अमाउंट्स ऑफ पेनल्टी उसमें आता है। अगर अमाउंट ऑफ पेनल्टी उसमें नहीं आया, then that particular penalty cannot be confirmed against a assessee, against a registered person, against a noticee. The show cause notice is your binding. It Vrindavan Beverages Honorable Supreme Court very clear. आपकी जो एक नोटिस आपको मिल गया है वो एक आपको और डिपार्टमेंट को बाध्य कर देता है एक सरकमफ्रेंस में। ना डिपार्टमेंट उसके बाहर जा सकता, ना आप उसके बाहर जा सकते। जो एलिगेशंस लगाई गई हैं, जो अमाउंट डिमांड करी गई है, ना तो उस एलिगेशन के अलावा। आई गिव यू वेरी स्मॉल एग्जांपल। टुडे अगेन बिफोर द ऑनरेबल हाई कोर्ट द मैटर वाज, हमारे को एक रिफंड का नोटिस आता है। रिफंड के नोटिस के अंदर जो एलिगेशंस है वो हैं, आपका 3B2A मैच नहीं कर रहा है, आपका एक डिफॉल्टिंग सप्लायर है, इसके कारण क्यों ना आपका रिफंड रिजेक्ट किया जाए। और जब ऑर्डर आता है तो ऑर्डर ये कहता है कि जो आपका रिफंड है वो कस्टम्स से पर्टेन करता है, जीएसटी से पर्टेन ही नहीं करता, इसलिए मैं इस रिफंड ऑर्डर को रिजेक्ट करता। क्या ये एक वैलिड ऑर्डर पास किया गया है अंडर दी जीएसटी स्टैट्यूट? सर नहीं। जो एलिगेशन मेरे शोकॉज नोटिस में थी नहीं, उस एलिगेशन के बियॉन्ड एक नया ग्राउंड लेकर आप मेरे ऑर्डर को कंफर्म नहीं कर सकते, बिकॉज देयर इज अ न्यू finding in the order, there is a new angle, there is something which has been put into the order for which you have not given me an opportunity of being heard. So it is in violation of the very principle of audi alteram partem, and it is infringing the principles of natural justice. I hope I am very clear on these 2-3 aspects. So whenever you are getting a manual order, you can quote instruction. आपको जब भी कोई मैनुअल ऑर्डर मिले, you can quote instruction number 4/2023, whereby the officers are required to upload the orders on the common portal, and without which there is no point in participating in the proceedings. I hope this point I have put forth very clearly before my friends. Now we have seen that the appeal has to be made. Appeal 3 महीने के अंदर हमें करनी, within 3 months. When will this 3 months will start? Now this proposition is very clear since the beginning, but there is some problem I think with GST and computation, or officers are not allowing this. Why is it so? So suppose an order is communicated on, let's say 12th of March 2023. So 3 months from there should be what? Everybody's answer will be, sir, let us take up this as a question. On to your chat box, sir. मैं सबके सामने एक छोटा सा सवाल रख रहा हूँ। आपके पास एक नोटिस सर्व होता है 12 मार्च 2024 को। 12 मार्च 2024 को आपके पास एक शोकॉज नोटिस ऑर्डर सर्व होता है, नॉट शोकॉज नोटिस, माय अपॉलॉजीज, एन ऑर्डर अंडर सेक्शन 73 confirming a demand. You have to make an appeal within 3 months from that particular date of communication. Now, what will be the date on which your limitation ends? आपको 3 महीने जोड़ने हैं 12 मार्च 2024 को। सो एक छोटा सा आपसे सवाल है, आपकी पीरियड ऑफ लिमिटेशन कब खत्म होती है? आई एम हैप्पी टू सी दैट वी आर एक्चुअली रिस्ट्रिक्टिंग आवरसेल्फ। हमारे सबके जवाब 11 और 12 के ही हैं। मैक्सिमम 11 जून 2024 कह रहे हैं, 2 मित्रों ने 12 जून कहा है, और अभी बहुत सारे सो देयर इज वन मोर अप्रोच, दिस इज 13th जून। 9 जून अरुण जी, I will not I'm not going into condonation. तो तारा जी has added condonation also. तो तारा जी ने फटाफट अपना condonation पीरियड का भी बेनिफिट ले लिया, जो कि शायद जरूरत नहीं थी, बट स्टिल मैं रिक्वेस्ट करूंगा सभी मेंबर से condonation अवॉइड करिए। they might not go in your favor. It is not a right, but it is a facility given, discretion to the officer. I'll speak on that also. उसमें भी बात करेंगे. So maximum members ने 9 और 10 जून की जो डेट ली वो इस हिसाब से ली कि उन्होंने 90 डेज कंसिडर किया 3 मंथ्स को. At the outset, let me put my very humble view. It is not 90 days, it is 3 months. So first of all, the battle will be between 11th or maybe 12th. I'm coming on to that. Now, in this particular case, the question which emerges is, will the date on which the order is passed, क्योंकि अब हमारे ऑर्डर के पास होने में और कम्युनिकेट होने में टाइम में डिफरेंस नहीं है. उसका डिफरेंस क्यों नहीं है सर? क्योंकि अब ये पोर्टल के ऊपर इलेक्ट्रॉनिकली आ रहा है. And anything which is being uploaded electronically on the portal, it is being communicated at the very same instance. Yes, in income tax, when you have seen section 148 notices, आप सबको पता है 148 के notices के ऊपर काफी लड़ाई चली, और उसमें से एक लड़ाई जो थी वो ये भी थी कि डेट ऑफ कम्युनिकेशन क्या रहेगा अगर मेरे पास जो मेल है, आईटीबीए का जो पोर्टल है उसके ऊपर अपलोड जो हुई वो हुई लेटर से 1 जनवरी को, और 2 जनवरी को मेरे पास मेल ट्रिगर होती है, तो किस मेरे पास जो डेट है वो 1 मानी जाएगी, 2 मानी जाएगी. Now the only test which is there has been provided under the IT Act, if I'm not wrong, under section 13, and Delhi High Court took a very lenient view on this, quoting section 13, that this will only be the second when the mail has left the server of the income tax department. There is no difference between when it is left from the server of the department and being received by the recipient. उसके बीच में टाइम लैप्स नहीं है. टाइम लैप्स कहां पर है? जब आपके इनकम टैक्स के सर्वर में बहुत सारी मेल्स जो हैं, 10,000 मेल इकट्ठे डाल दी गई. सो देयर इज अ सिस्टम कॉल्ड टाइम अलॉटमेंट, जिसमें वो डिवाइड कर देता है बैचेस में, और एक बार में एक सर्टेन बैच को वो मेल को भेजता है. तो जो बैच 1 तारीख को क्रॉस कर गया, या फॉर दैट मैटर लेट मी टेक द वेरी क्लियर डेट, 31 मार्च को क्रॉस कर गया, वो लिमिटेशन के बियॉन्ड कंटेस्ट किया जा सकता है. एंड सेम इज द केस विद जीएसटी ऑल्सो. जब आपके बल्क ऑर्डर्स लोड होने शुरू होंगे, अनफॉर्चुनेटली वो भी ऐसा कुछ नहीं है अनलाइक इनकम टैक्स, क्योंकि ऑफिसर्स दिन में ही अपना काम पूरा करके चले जाते हैं. तो आपके पास जो मेल है आप कभी भी चेक कर लीजिए, विद इन द डे टाइम आ गई होगी, विद इन योर लिमिटेशन. सो अगर कोई भी ऑर्डर अपलोड होगा पोर्टल पे, एक मेल और एक एसएमएस आपके पास आएगा. वो जो मेल और वो एसएमएस है वो आपकी डेट ऑफ कम्युनिकेशन मानी जाएगी एज पर सेक्शन 12(1) ऑफ द लिमिटेशन एक्ट. जिस भी दिन वो ऑर्डर पास होता है, मतलब अपलोड होता है, वो डे आपके एपिलेट लिमिटेशन से बाहर रखा जाएगा. और उसका मतलब ये है, जो मैंने तारीख बोली थी 12, वो बाहर हो जाएगी. आपकी लिमिटेशन काउंट करी जाएगी 13 मार्च से. 13 मार्च का मतलब हो गया 12 जून will be the date when the limitation will be over. So please take this note, take this in account, and it has been decided in writ petition number 4401 of 2024, Honorable Delhi High Court, in the case of Pramod Kumar Tomar, 4401/2024. Right, sir? Moving further. अब क्वेश्चन एक और हमारे पास आता है कि क्या ये 3 महीने हर बारी स्ट्रिक्टली कॉन्स्टिट्यूट किए जाएंगे? एक सेक्शन 14 ऑफ लिमिटेशन एक्ट है which says of condoning delay when bona fide appeal was not being filed, or was filed, sorry, when the appeal has been filed bona fidely in the wrong form. In that particular case also, the period when the appeal was lying in the wrong forum, that particular period will also have to be taken out by the authorities. So you have to take that particular period also out for computing the limitation. Now, one very interesting decision which again came up. This was in the case of one widow. Her husband was ill when the notice was issued, and unfortunately on the date of the death on the date of the death of that particular person, the husband of the lady, an order was passed against confirming a demand against that particular lady. Now, the Honorable Delhi High Court took note of this particular situation and relaxed and allowed the order was quashed and was sent back at the show cause notice. Very in an extraordinary circumstance that relief has been granted. So under Article 226, the power of the court is very wide and is not restricted by the statute. So courts can give those particular reliefs in extraordinary cases. I think that the name of the decision was Anshul Bansal. Anshul Bansal versus the proper officer. That particular order, we have seen that is one exception which has come out in the favor of the SSC, that this particular order will be quashed and will be sent for re-adjudication. So extraordinary circumstances, you can approach the Honorable High Court. But अगर हम normal situations की बात करें, हमारे को Honorable Supreme Court के एक और decision ने बांध दिया है, that is with the name of Singh Enterprises. वो ये कहता है कि the commissioner cannot condone that particular delay beyond 3 months. So when the Honorable High Court is quashing an order, is not condoning the delay. So under no circumstances that condonation for filing the appeal can be given. This is what Honorable Supreme Court said. Appellate authority cannot condone beyond 30 days. उसकी एक्ट के अंदर पावर 30 डेज की ही है, वो 30 दिन के बियॉन्ड आपके अपील को कंडोन नहीं कर सकता. So this is something which we have to keep in mind. So before we proceed, any Payal ji, do you think we should take up any queries till now?
Sir, we can read the queries till time because they are related to the topic which you have covered till time. Sir, there is one question in the question box. The question is, the officers, they were neither signed the documents manually or digitally, only put SD in the place of signature. So, sir, what is the impact of this action or this way of issuing the notice?
Payal ji, my apologies. I think some snap in the connection was there. Please tell me.
Yes, sir. Sir, there is one question. The officers were neither signed the documents manually or digitally, only put SD in the place of signature. So, sir, what is the impact of this?
Sir, Payal ji, that's a very valid question. I must compliment, ये note करना भी बहुत जरूरी है. किसी भी इनवॉइस के नीचे अगर SD लिखा हो, और कई इनवॉइसेस के नीचे बहुत अच्छी लाइन लिखी होती है, this is a computer generated invoice. It does not need signature. Will it be a valid invoice? No, sir. Similarly, it has been held by a tried number of cases, including a very interesting case from Bombay High Court, कि अगर वो order जो है वो signed order नहीं है, it is not a valid order. So please understand, it has to be either digitally signed or it has to be manually signed and then uploaded by the officer. So that particular plea is being taken in many cases. In certain cases, so when the DIN number is there or any other kind of authentication is there, that particular signature condition has been not considered by the court. But yes, in most of the cases, the signature being very paramount, that the officer acknowledges that I am the person who has issued this particular document, is a prerequisite for the validity of any document. Right, sir? So
sir, in case we receive any notice which is not properly signed, so should we write to them that this is not signed and we will not reply unless and until it is properly signed by the authorities?
आप उस केस में बल्कि दूसरे तरीके से लिखिए कि we are in receipt of this particular letter. We do not know whether this is an authenticated document or not. We request you to kindly confirm whether you have issued duly acknowledging and putting your signatures on the said document. So document means any notice or order, whatever the case may be.
Okay, sir. So the next question is, if order and notice only by post by CGST Delhi, reply on email, not consider matter of 16/4, and now where to get the relief in revision or appeal? This
देखिए
question
सबसे
is by Karaj. जी sir.
दो चीजें हैं इसमें. अगर आपने किसी प्रोसीडिंग्स के अंदर पार्टिसिपेट कर लिया है, देयर आर cases where the courts have said that since you have participated, the proceedings are not vitiated on account of improper service. The service is regularized the moment you are participating in any of the proceedings. Am I very clear? अगर आपने उसका प्रिलिमिनरी ऑब्जेक्शन पहले उठा दिया होता by way of that letter which we were speaking, कि by those particular instructions, then in that particular case the courts will be with you that this is not the proper, and when the instructions are in place, no action can be taken on those particular manually issued notices or order as the case may be. But yes, still depending on a case to case basis, I would say we can suggest that in some cases के अंदर, if you are actually wanting to challenge that this is not the proper way of service, number one, you write to the officer at least for the order, and number two, you should go and challenge this in writ before the Honorable High Court, jurisdictional High Court.
Thank you, sir. Sir, one more question. If 2017-18 lapses, lapse is not able to file the same, any common ground will be taken for condonation of delay, and whether the order is needed to be certified through copy from the jurisdictional officer?
देखिए that those days are gone, जहाँ पे 2-3 साल के बाद प्रैक्टिशनर्स जो हैं वो जाते थे और एक लेटर ले जाते थे कि सर ये हमें ऑर्डर नहीं मिला और हमारी ये डिमांड जो है वो हमें बताई गई है, कृपया करके हमें इस ऑर्डर की सर्टिफाइड कॉपी दे दीजिए. एंड द डेट ऑफ रिसीट ऑफ द सर्टिफाइड कॉपी was taken as the date of communication. The rule still remains same, but please understand, if the order is served electronically now, so with the post thing, you will have to prove, number one, let me caution everyone, if they are going with that particular approach, department is also maintaining a copy of the tracking of the speed post delivery in their file. So at least if you look into tribunal and above, everyone is keeping a track copy in their file. So it will be very tough for you to give a wrong statement. And I'm putting you on caution, don't give a wrong statement. If the copy has been received, it has been received. Number two, if the copy has not been received, then definitely you can go and tell the officer, I've not received the copy, you please give me a copy, and give me the copy in the correct manner, which is uploading electronically, and thereafter my proceedings will start in terms of appeal. तो आपको ये ध्यान रखना है कि कोई भी चीज, कोई भी तथ्य ऐसा ना हो जो गलत आप डिपार्टमेंट के आप सामने एक अंडरटेकिंग के रूप में ले जाएं, बिकॉज दोज विल नॉट बी टेकन very positively by the court tomorrow.
Sir, one more question. Whether the ASMT 10 mandatory before issuing DRC 01?
ASMT 10. See, what is the purpose of ASMT 10? Actually, everybody is now moving on to the topic of show cause notice. I understand these are general problems, but I'll answer this. I will then stick to my topic of appeal, because this is a very interesting question. Is ASMT 10, and this one particular challenge we have taken in many of our cases, and more particularly the Honorable Guwahati High Court in the case of PepsiCo has given this particular verdict in terms of issuing the notice. The judgment is yet to be given. Notice issue हुआ था with the observation that it is a part of that particular procedure which is laid in the law. Now, why is it so important? That is the problem which we have to understand. Section 73, which speaks of issuing the show cause notice, when we go to section 73, or for that matter section 74, the language says where it appears to the proper officer that any tax has not been paid or short paid. A 73 or 74 can be issued in 3 circumstances. 3 circumstances may issue. आपने टैक्स नहीं दिया, कम दिया, आपने आईटीसी गलत अवेल करा या गलत यूटिलाइज करा, या आपने एक एरोनियस रिफंड आपने जो है ले लिया, इन 3 सर्कमस्टांसेस के अलावा आपको शो कॉज नोटिस डिमांड का एटलीस्ट इशू नहीं हो सकता। पेनल्टी का हो जाए, प्रोसिक्यूशन का, वो दोज आर द थिंग्स। डिमांड 3 केसेस में आई, where it appears a tax has not been paid or short paid or ITC has been wrongly availed or utilized. Now appears के बाद the appearance has to be that my ITC is wrongly availed. Vis-a-vis this, there is section 61, scrutiny of return. वो क्या कहता है? वो कहता है the proper officer may scrutinize the return to verify the correctness of the return and inform the person of the discrepancies noticed. तो अगर मेरा 2A और 3B के बीच का डिफरेंस है, इज इट अ मैटर वेयर ही अपीयर्स, इट अपीयर्स टू हिम कि मैंने आईटीसी गलत लिया है? नो सर। हो सकता है मैंने पिछले साल का लिया हो सकता है मैंने आईटीसी वो लिया हो जिसकी रिटर्न मेरे सप्लायर ने अगले महीने भरी, क्योंकि 17, 18, 18, 19, 19, 20 अक्टूबर 19 तक देयर वाज नो रूल और सेक्शन अनलाइक 36(4) और फॉर दैट मैटर 16(2) AA which required the buyer to look into his 2A before availing the credit, and it has been I would say uh, it has been confirmed by the Honorable Supreme Court. This understanding is confirmed by the Honorable Supreme Court by holding, in the case of Bharti Airtel, that 2A is merely a support. It is merely an ancillary form. It is not the main form to take your ITC. And there is where Bharti Airtel lost the case before the Honorable Supreme Court. Right now? So, अब क्वेश्चन ये आता है, ASMT 10 जो कहता है वो कहता है डिस्क्रिपेंसीज नोटिस। सो मेरा 2A और 3B का डिफरेंस जो है वो डिस्क्रिपेंसी है। That is not a conclusion of appearance to the officer that my ITC has been wrongly availed. Wrongly availed. When you say wrongly availed, the allegation, जो allegation officer लगाना चाहता है, that has to be unambiguous, that has to be complete. It cannot be vague. So अगर कहीं पे भी कोई vague observation है, that cannot culminate into a show cause notice. वो एक शो कॉज नोटिस को जन्म नहीं दे सकता। सो मेरे हिसाब से जो सवाल किया गया, क्या ASMT 10 जरूरी है 73, 74 से पहले? सर मैं ये नहीं कहूंगा 73, 74 से पहले ASMT 10 जरूरी है। मैं ये कहूंगा डिपार्टमेंट के पास डिमांड एंड रिकवरी से पहले इंक्वायरी के कई प्रावधान दिए गए, सेक्शन 61, सेक्शन 65, 66, 67 आप ऑडिट कर सकते हैं, आप सर्च कर सकते हैं, आप ASMT 10 दे सकते हैं। 71 विजिट टू दी प्रीमाइसेस, आपके पास ये सारी पावर्स दी गई हैं। आपको इनमें से किसी भी पावर को यूज करके पहले एक ओपिनियन बनाना है कि देयर इज सम टैक्स इवेजन और देयर हैज बीन सम wrongful availment of ITC which has been done, and thereafter you can issue the show cause notice. Otherwise there is no point. Every discrepancy will go to the assessee as a show cause notice. So when you're going before the honorable high courts or at the higher forums, so if you are taking this particular objection from the very start, you can take it till your higher forums also. So I think we have taken a couple of questions, Payal, we can proceed.
Yes, sir, we should proceed. We will take the questions at the end now.
Right, sir. So I hope जिस भी मेंबर ने ये ASMT 10 का सवाल पूछा था, एक बार पायल जी को कंफर्म कर दीजिए कि this is answered so that this is not taken up again later. चलिए, I don't know. Let me proceed. So friends, we were on the topic कि हम कॉन्डोनेशन के ऊपर आने से पहले हमने कम्युनिकेशन की अहमियत, हमने कॉन्डोनेशन के टाइम फ्रेम में सिंह एंटरप्राइजेस की अहमियत, हमने क्वेश्चन इन एक्स्ट्राऑर्डिनरी सर्कमस्टांसेस ये सब डिस्कस किया, प्लस इंस्ट्रक्शन नंबर 4/2023. Now the appeal can only be filed if you have made a pre-deposit. Now this is a very important change from the erstwhile tech era. पहले के एरा में क्या था, आप अगर प्री डिपॉजिट देते हैं तो आपकी जो रिकवरी है वो स्टे हो जाएगी, बट अब जो है वो सेक्शन जो है इट हैज बिन written in such a manner that this particular pre-deposit of 10% at the first appellate stage, आपको फर्स्ट appellate में 10% और सेकंड appellate में 20% पे करना है, तभी आपकी अपील फाइल होगी. So now it is not a condition, precondition of stay. 107 subsection 6 says no appeal shall be filed under subsection 1 unless the appellant has paid in full such part of the amount of tax, interest, fine, fee, penalty as arising from the impugned order as is admitted by him, and a sum equal to 10% of the remaining amount of tax in dispute arising from the said order subject to the maximum of 25 crore rupees in relation to which the appeal has been filed. दो हिस्से. आपके पास जो ऑर्डर आया है उसमें से आप जो कहते हैं कि भाई, आप जो कहते हैं कि मेरे को ये वाली जो अमाउंट है मैं इसको कंटेस्ट नहीं करना चाहता. सो दो देयर वर टू पार्ट्स. एक पार्ट था एज आपका एक सप्लायर के लिए कि भाई आपके सप्लायर ने टैक्स पे नहीं करा है, आपने उससे सप्लाई नहीं ली है, 5 लाख रुपए आपका टैक्स इनपुट टैक्स क्रेडिट जो है वो गलत है. एक पॉइंट ये था. दूसरा पॉइंट था आपने जो है आउटपुट टैक्स 18% पे नहीं करा, आपने 12 पे करा. तो आपको लगता है कि मैं अपने आईटीसी वाले पॉइंट को लड़ना नहीं चाहता, मैं अपने केवल आउटपुट वाले टैक्स को लड़ना चाहता. तो अपील आपकी तभी फाइल हो सकती है जब आप अपने एडमिटेड अमाउंट विच विल इंक्लूड टैक्स, इंटरेस्ट एंड पेनल्टी इफ लेवीड, अगर आप इस पूरे को जमा कर देते हैं तो वो आपका एडमिटेड टैक्स पूरा जमा होना चाहिए. और फिर डिस्प्यूटेड अमाउंट का जो टैक्स होगा, आई एम रिपीटिंग माई सेल्फ, ओनली द टैक्स अमाउंट, उसका 10% it has to be paid before you can proceed to file the appeal before the forum. I hope I am clear on these two perspectives. Admitted tax vis-a-vis tax in dispute. So if it is only a penalty, there is no requirement of pre-deposit. However, there is a specific requirement that under subsection 129(3) जो ई-वे बिल की अपील होती है ड्यूरिंग द ट्रांजिट, अगर कोई ई-वे बिल गवर्नमेंट को प्रॉपर नहीं मिलता, ऑफिसर जो प्रॉपर ऑफिसर है उसको प्रॉपर नहीं मिलता, in that case he imposes a penalty under 129(3) which can be 200% of the tax or 50% of the value of the goods as the case may be. वो आपको उस पर्टिकुलर पेनल्टी के केस में 25% ऑफ द पेनल्टी आपको डिपॉजिट करनी पड़ेगी. केवल एक पेनल्टी का एक्सेप्शन है, बाकी किसी पेनल्टी के अंदर आपको प्री डिपॉजिट नहीं देना. आपको टैक्स इन डिस्प्यूट का 10% आपने जमा करना है फॉर फाइलिंग ऑफ दी अपील. नाउ इसके बाद जब आपने फाइल कर दी, सबसे पहले तो आपकी अपील फाइल हो जाएगी और आपकी जो बाकी अमाउंट है, जो भी टैक्स भी होगा, इंटरेस्ट भी होगा, पेनल्टी भी होगा, वो आपका स्टे हो जाएगा. उसके अगेंस्ट डिपार्टमेंट कोई भी रिकवरी एक्शन नहीं ले सकता. So please be very, very clear on computing these particular amount. Now coming on to some very, very important I would say, requisites of a effective appellate proceeding. Number one, audio alterum partem. A hearing is mandatory under 107 subsection A. So आपको हियरिंग देना एक मैंडेटरी कंडीशन है. कैन दी ऑर्डर बी पास विदाउट बीइंग हर्ड? नो सर. Section itself says, and there are lot number of cases which has come up, that under section 75, when it is read with section 73 and hearing was not given in case of show cause notice, then the order was held to be a void. It was quashed by the honorable high courts. तो अगर आपको हियरिंग नहीं मिलती है एपिलेट में और ऑर्डर पास हो जाता है, that whole order is completely in violation of audio alterum partem, in violation of section 107 subsection 8. सेक्शन 107 सबसेक्शन 9 कहता है कि अगर आप कोई सफिशिएंट कॉज दिखा दें तो आप जो है एडजर्नमेंट भी ले सकते हैं. बट वहां पर एक चीज उन्होंने एक लिमिट रख दी है, दैट नो एडजर्नमेंट शैल बी ग्रांटेड मोर देन 3 times टू अ पार्टी ड्यूरिंग द हियरिंग ऑफ एन अपील. 3 से ज्यादा एडजर्नमेंट्स आपको नहीं मिलेंगे. अब कई बार क्या होता है, अगेन कुछ ऑफिसर्स एक सिंगल हियरिंग नोटिस निकालते हैं और उसमें लिख देते हैं कि सर 3 हियरिंग डेट्स उसमें आपको दे दी कि 12 मार्च, 18 मार्च और लेट्स से 24 मार्च, आपको 3 हियरिंग दे दी जाती हैं। आप इसके अंदर अपीयर हो जाइए और अपने मैटर की हियरिंग को क्लोज कर लीजिए। नाउ विल दिस बी अ वैलिड hearing notice or will it be counted as a single hearing notice? Now this was a contention which has been there in the earlier regime also कि अगर एक ही नोटिस में 3 डेट्स दे दी गई हैं तो क्या इसको 3 डेट्स माना जाएगा और ऑटोमेटिक एडजर्नमेंट्स मानी जाएंगी? इस केस में ऑनरेबल सेस्टेड अहमदाबाद, in the case of Afloat Textile Private Limited, the tribunal noted कि adjudicating authority in terms of the giving the hearing dates, key adjournments cannot be given more than 3 times. They are giving a letter with 3 dates, considering the non-appearance as an adjournment request by the assessee or the appellant. The tribunal held that giving choice of 3 dates in one letter and seeking 1 month adjournment by the appellant would not amount to 3 adjournments have been sought. It will be taken as one adjournment. आपसे अगर किसी appellant ने giving a valid reason, so for example, the appellant had said my accountant is suffering from jaundice, kindly give me 25 days of adjournment. Sir, the reason of adjournment and the adjournment timing is very much in tandem, very much satisfiable, and therefore the amount of time requested can be afforded by the authority. By giving repetitive dates, he is trying not to hear you, and that particular order, if it is passed, it will be in violation of audi alteram partem. If the proprietor is hospitalized, if the proprietor is out of country, which is a pre-scheduled visit, ऐसा नहीं कि शो कॉज नोटिस आया उसी वक्त अमेरिका की टिकट बुक करी और निकल गए। नो सर, इट हैज टू बी अ सर्कमस्टांस जहां पर अपील की कोई डेट आई और उस डेट के नोटिस और डेट के बीच में देयर इज अ प्री शेड्यूल्ड विजिट। अगर उस डेट के बाद की विजिट है फिर क्या प्रॉब्लम है? और उस डेट से पहले ही अगर आप बाहर हैं, देन ऑल्सो इट इज योर ड्यूटी टू टेल द ऑफिसर दैट सी दिस इज द ट्रैवल शेड्यूल, द पर्सन विल बी बैक, and after that we need so much of time, maybe a week or 5 days to prepare the matter. Yes, you cannot be unjust to take or ask for 3 months, 5 months, any kind of adjournment. No sir, every period of adjournment which you are seeking should be commensurate, should be corresponding to the reason you are giving for that particular adjournment. So adjournment can be granted. The adjournment has to be a very sensible adjournment, and 3 adjournments can be given, not more than 3, even if the reason is very valid. अगर reason कितना भी valid हो, period के ऊपर इसमें कोई choice नहीं दी गई, but adjournment के numbers पे officer को restrict किया गया कि 3 से ज्यादा adjournments आप नहीं दे सकते. Now this was very very important a part. There is one more thing. Can new grounds be permitted or added during the pendency of the appeal? This is again covered by section 107 subsection 10. Or the choice has also been given to the appellate authority to allow the ground which was not taken earlier if it is satisfied that the omission of ground was not willful or unreasonable. So उसको ये नहीं प्रूव करना कि किसी कारणवश रह गया, बट उसकी जो एडिशन है ग्राउंड की, that is not unlawful or not willful, sorry, or unreasonable. आपकी जानबूझ के छोड़ा हुआ नहीं था. You are not doing I would say so this one we can just put it कि वो कहीं he is not trying to play with the system. The bona fide of the appellant just need to be seen. So for example, there was one high court judgment which came during the pendency of the appeal, and there was one point which comes to the notice of the appellant, and he is now wanting to take that particular point, maybe challenging the service of the notice or jurisdiction of the officer. Those particular points can be added. वो points add हो सकते हैं, but those omissions आपको ये दिखाना पड़ेगा कि those were not willful or they were not unreasonable. Now friends, it's a very important principle which is again laid down. एपेलेट अथॉरिटी की पावर्स अब क्या है? एपेलेट अथॉरिटीज अपने अपील के अंदर क्या क्या कर सकता है? दी पावर्स अगेन हैज बीन restricted. It has been said that appellate authority can confirm, he can confirm, modify, annul the decision or order passed or order appealed against, but shall not refer back to the adjudicating authority that has passed the said orders in that particular case. So I hope I am very clear on this particular point. जो ऑफिसर है वो उस पर्टिकुलर ऑर्डर को कंफर्म कर सकता है, मॉडिफाई कर सकता है, एनल कर सकता है, खारिज कर सकता है, पर वो उसको रिमांड बैक नहीं कर सकता टू दी ऑफिसर हु हैज पास द ऑर्डर. The first appellate authority does not have a choice. Now, this has become very, very important in the cases where there is a refund. Why I'm saying so? Why I'm referring to this particular perspective? बहुत बारी देखा गया है, एक रिफंड किसी ने अप्लाई किया, उसको रिजेक्ट कर दिया गया बाय द बाय द प्रॉपर ऑफिसर. उसके अगेंस्ट जो है द पर्सन हैज गॉन इनटू अपील and the first appellate authority has allowed and has quashed the order, and therefore he has allowed the refund to the person. Now in this particular case, the person जिसको refund allow हुआ है by first appellate authority will have to file RFD 01 again. Now that is a requirement of the system GSTN. Now there is one small thing which you should keep in mind, that you are not going to take a refund on pretext of, let's say, export. अब आपका जो refund है वो export के लिए नहीं, अब आपका जो refund है that is arising on account of a order. So for implementation of an order, there is a refund which is arising out of that order. You are going for that. So when you are making a choice for again a refund, you should be very, very particular in choosing the option. My friends who are into compliances will definitely grasp better कि जो ऑप्शन आपको चूज करनी है वो एक रिफंड ऑन अकाउंट ऑफ एक्सपोर्ट नहीं करनी, वो करनी है रिफंड ऑन अकाउंट ऑफ कंप्लायंस ऑफ एन ऑर्डर. और उस पर्टिकुलर केस में जो आपका ऑफिसर है वो आपकी पूरी रिफंड एप्लीकेशन को रीस्क्रूटनाइज नहीं कर सकता. he will have to give you the refund as merely a compliance of the order of his superior authority. So it is not a choice given. Once the order has been allowed for refund by the first appellate authority, the proper officer cannot re-adjudicate the refund. And this is again in one of the decision. It has been confirmed that this cannot go back to the proper officer. So this was in the case of Kronos Solution India Private Limited. The writ cannot go back to the jurisdictional officer. The order cannot go back for remand to the jurisdictional officer. It has to be decided by the proper officer. And Delhi High Court has again said that the refund, when it is allowed by the first appellate authority, cannot be re-adjudicated by the learned proper officer. He will merely have to comply, give the refund. If department want to contest that particular position, they will have to go into a appeal against the first appellate authority before the tribunal. अगर डिपार्टमेंट को वो रिफंड कंटेस्ट करना है तो वो ऑफिसर के माध्यम से नहीं होगा. दे विल हैव टू अपील अगेंस्ट दैट पर्टिकुलर एपेलेट अथॉरिटी ऑर्डर. एपेलेट अथॉरिटी जो है वो ऑर्डर में डिमांड एनहेंस कर सकती है सर, बिल्कुल कर सकती है. इट कैन डू सो, बट देन इफ इट वांट्स टू एनहेंस, it will have to then issue a show cause notice, and that particular show cause notice will have to comply with the requisites of section 73 and 74. So appellate authority को भी पावर है, उसको पता चला अच्छा ड्यूरिंग दी प्रोसीडिंग्स की केवल गलती जो है रेट की नहीं है, वैल्यू की भी गलती है. सो 12-18 की लड़ाई नहीं है, लड़ाई जो है वैल्यूएशन की भी है. इन दैट पर्टिकुलर केस the appellate authority can also issue a show cause notice why this particular demand should not be enhanced but the timelines of 73 and 74 has to be adhered to. So for example, 17, 18, 70, this one, timelines for 17, 18, section 73 has lapsed. So the appellate authority cannot issue us a show cause notice under 73. और अगर कोई मैटर एडजुडिकेटिंग अथॉरिटी के सामने था जहां पे इनवॉइसेस भी थी, प्रोडक्ट भी था, ट्रांजैक्शन भी थी, valuations will then become very tough to be challenged under 74 because this was already in the knowledge of the department, and therefore the taxpayer, the registered person, has not stretched beyond the normal period on occasions of fraud, willful misstatement, or suppression. So these three elements will be tough on the part of the appellate authority also to be taken on record when all those records were very much with before the department by the assessee. एक कंडीशन रखी गई है कि अपील जो है इट हैज टू बी डिसाइडेड एंड हर्ड विद इन अ पीरियड ऑफ 1 year. बट एक छोटा सा उसमें राइटर लगा दिया गया वेयर इट इज पॉसिबल टू डू सो. नाउ विल दैट मीन कि अच्छा मन किया तो पास हो जाएगा 1 साल में, नहीं तो नहीं. सर इसका ये मतलब है अगर वो नहीं हो सकता तो इसका ये मतलब नहीं है कि वो अपील खारिज होगी. इसका ये मतलब है if it is not possible to do so in any particular case, the officer will have to, the first appellate authority will have to take a proper reason, record a proper reason कि क्यों नहीं ये 1 साल के अंदर डिसाइड हो पाए. और इसके अंदर अगर कोई स्टे ऑफ द हाई कोर्ट और ट्राइब्यूनल है वो पीरियड 1 साल की कॉम्पिटिशन में बाहर किया जाएगा. एंड लास्टली, if there is any order passed by the appellate authority, it has to be communicated to the person. Now, friends, one more point which I want to discuss कि सारे orders जितने भी पास किए जाते हैं under the statute, not all are appealable orders. So there is one section 121. 4 orders उसमें बताए गए हैं, those are non-appealable orders. Why I am saying so? You cannot approach the Honorable High Court even under 226 if there is a effective remedy available to you, efficacious remedy available to you. It is only when there are no doors to challenge a particular problem issue or order, then only you can approach the extraordinary powers of the Honorable High Court under 226. Non-appealable orders include, number 1, an order of the commissioner or authority empowered to direct the transfer of proceeding from one officer to another officer, to direct your proceedings transfer. Number 2, an order pertaining to seizure or retention of the books of accounts, register, or other records. Number 3, an order sanctioning prosecution under this act. And number 4, an order passed under section 80, which is basically the payment of tax in installment. Apart from these 4 orders, all orders under this particular statute are appealable order. However, I am putting one more point to your kind notice. In the case of Radhakrishnan Industries versus State of Himachal Pradesh, Honorable Supreme Court has said that the writ petition before the High Courts under Article 226 challenging the order of provisional attachments are maintainable. So it is a verdict of the Honorable Supreme Court. If there are orders of attachments, that particular order of attachments, the writs are maintainable before the Honorable High Courts. Attachment के orders bank accounts attach कर दिए गए. ये बहुत common है in cases where there is some fake invoicing or other things are involved. And the first step which the officer takes is to block the ITC and then to block the or attach the bank accounts. The remedy to the taxpayer, number 1, is to apply for a reopening of the or detaching of the property. The second remedy will be to go for a writ in those particular cases, as has been held by Honorable Supreme Court. Let me not go into again the details of this particular thing, but we can refer to that particular judgment, being not the subject matter today. Now, Appellate authority, while disposing the appeal, 2 things have to be kept very clearly. Number 1, it has to be in writing. And number 2, He will state the point for determination and the decision thereof and the reason for this decision. So it, as always, कभी भी जब होता है कोई order अगर pass होता है, it has to be a reasoned order in writing. That's a prerequisite for any order to be validated by the court. अगर उसमें reason missing है, अब in many of the decisions, numerous, Delhi High Court ने क्या करा? Officers ने लिखा था the reply of the assessee is not satisfactory, is found not satisfactory, and therefore the demand is confirmed. Sir, what do you mean by why is it unsatisfactory? What was the problem with the reply of the taxpayer? You have to write that reason. If you are not writing the reason, it is not a reasoned order, and in those particular cases, it will not be allowed as a valid order, and those orders were quashed by the Honorable High Court. So please do keep these things in mind. If it is a reasoned order, it will survive. Otherwise, it will be quashed by the Honorable High Courts in these particular cases. Now, there is one very, very important thing, because I think we have I'll keep the last 15 minutes, Payalji, I'll take it for next 20 minutes more. And then I'll keep it for question and answers, whatever the members will be having. क्योंकि members के questions भी काफी हो गए होंगे अब तक, if I'm not wrong.
Yes, sir, yes.
क्योंकि ये झगड़े वाला topic है with the department, so I think most of the members, they will be keen to take up questions, and there will be a lot of problems. आजकल इतने सारे मुद्दे सबके सामने हैं, and new unnecessary issues are also in appeal or in writs. For example, आपने ITC का जो रिवर्सल है वो आउटपुट में क्यों कर दिया? आपने रिवर्सल वाले कॉलम में नेट क्यों नहीं करा? और फॉर दैट मैटर आपने क्रेडिट नोट को ITC में क्यों दिखा दिया? आपको क्रेडिट नोट को नेट करना था। सर, नेट का स्पेस ही नहीं था, मेरे पास आउटपुट ही नहीं था। एन नंबर ऑफ अननेसेसरी फ्रिवलेस, आई वुड से, आपने इस महीने में टैक्स कम दिया, आपने अगले महीने में ज्यादा दिया, तो मैं क्यों मानूं कि ये अगले महीने का टैक्स पिछले महीने वाला ही है? सर मत मानिए, पर ये तो बताइए फिर ये एक्स्ट्रा टैक्स है किस चीज का? सो अनरीजन ऑर्डर्स, अनरीजनेबलनेस at the discretion of the officers, I think those particular things have to be curbed as from all perspective. But yes, the more we expect from the officers, the responsibility on the professionals also increases. क्यों? सर, अगर आप उनसे एक रीजन ऑर्डर की उम्मीद रखते हैं, तो आपका रिप्लाई भी पार एक्सीलेंस होना चाहिए। वो सारे पॉइंट्स उसके अंदर होने चाहिए जो आपके दिमाग में। हम क्या करते हैं, हम अपने राइटअप्स को तो शॉर्टकट में लेते हैं, उसमें मेहनत नहीं करते। मे बी वेरिड रीजन, आई नॉट गो इनटू इट, and more particularly, I am one person who is of the belief, once you have decided a fees with the client, small or big, kam ya zyada, please forget the fees. Keep your love of writing when you're getting the show cause notice or an appeal or an order in appeal. Please put best of your efforts. You are a professional who has been given, entrusted like a doctor, with a grave responsibility of someone's finance, someone's funds, which he has earned with a lot of efforts. So please give your best. Don't equate it after you've decided your fees. हाँ, fees आपको नहीं समझ में आ रही, don't take up the matter. But once you've taken up the matter, respect. That's a very humble prayer to all the professionals. Now, sir, coming on to the other aspects of the appeals. I am not going into.
मेंबर से रिक्वेस्ट है कि प्लीज म्यूट कर लीजिए।
It has been muted, I think, Payalji. I am not going into the second appellate authority for that matter. I'll refrain from that. I will straight away go to the peers of an effective appeal. ठीक है, फर्स्ट लेट मी टेल यू एक अच्छे ऑर्डर की पहचान, जो गाइडलाइंस है, एडजुडिकेशन ऑर्डर, क्योंकि वहीं से हमारे सारे के सारे पॉइंट्स निकल कर आएंगे, हमें अपील में क्या क्या लेंगे। सो एक बहुत ही अच्छा सुप्रीम कोर्ट डिसीजन है, लैंडमार्क डिसीजन, Saheli Leasing and Industries Limited का, which has laid down that these are the guidelines for a effective adjudication order. So the first point, which has been pointed out by the Honorable Supreme Court, that the order should always be kept in mind that nothing should be written in order which may not be germane to the facts of the case. So आप order जब लिख रहे हैं तो आप बहुत सारी चीजें जो कि बेफालतू की हैं वो मत लिखिए. Every fact should be correlated to the order. So for example, एक एसएससी के ऊपर आप आईटीसी का ऑर्डर बना रहे हैं, डिमांड बना रहे हैं, और आप उसकी आउटपुट लाइबिलिटीज के बारे में भी डिस्कस कर रहे हैं, उसके 2A 3B के 1 3B के कंपैरिजन पे बात कर रहे हैं, जबकि उसका डिमांड में कहीं पे भी उसका कोई लेना देना नहीं है. अवॉइड दैट. नंबर 2, once a order draft has been prepared, it is necessary to go through again by the officer if anything essential to be mentioned has been escaped. And I can tell you that while we might be criticizing some officer, a lot of effort goes, and we have found that there are very fine officers who write their own orders even at the positions of principal commissioners and commissioners, and you see the command, the preciseness in their order is unparalleled. The only thing they know is, let my order will be challenged at the next stage, and it has to survive that particular test. If you're writing an order with that spirit, I can tell you, if you're writing an order just because you just want to be safe, no, I don't, I just want to confirm the demand, and for other XYZ reason, I'm not going into them, those particular orders will be very tough to survive in the subsequent appellate proceedings. Show cause notice, today मेरा टॉपिक शो कॉज नोटिस नहीं था, उसके अंदर शो कॉज नोटिस में अगर मैं बात करूं, there are n number of things one should keep in mind when they are replying to show cause notice, because show cause notice पे you can nip the problem in the bud. That is the whole point जहां पर आप प्रॉब्लम को रोक सकते हैं. Let me give a very small example. एक शो कॉज नोटिस आया जिसने कहा कि आपकी जो डिमांड है वो कंस्ट्रक्शन में वर्क्स कॉन्ट्रैक्ट में फॉल करती है. आप बहुत सारे प्रोजेक्ट्स करते हैं, आपके 100 से ज्यादा प्रोजेक्ट्स हैं, क्यों नहीं आपकी सर्विस टैक्स की डिमांड वर्क्स कॉन्ट्रैक्ट कैटेगरी में 40% वाले रेट पे, जहां पे अबेटमेंट 60% है, 40% वैल्यू मानकर अंडर रूल 2A कंफर्म की जाए. ये शो कॉज है. सर, अगर शो कॉज ने आपका एक पर्टिकुलर रेट चूज करा है, अगर एक रेट चूज करा है, उस रेट को चूज करने का, उस वैल्यू को चूज करने का रीजन अगर एब्सेंट है या आर्बिट्रेरी, दैट पर्टिकुलर शो कॉज नोटिस विल नॉट सर्व. शो कॉज नोटिस की फाइंडिंग्स, रीजंस और डिमांड अनएम्बिगुअस होनी चाहिए. और ये सब चीजें अगर आप I'm so sorry, something stuck, sorry. अगर ये सब चीजें जो हैं आप अपने ऑर्डर में, अपने रिप्लाई में नहीं देंगे, तो फिर आगे जाके एपलेट के अंदर आपको प्रॉब्लम आएगी. अब एपलेट के अंदर हमें, जो मैं अभी बात कर रहा हूं, पहले तो मैं ये बात करता हूँ इफेक्टिव एपलेट ऑर्डर की, एडजुडिकेशन एडजुडिकेशन ऑर्डर की. तो हमने 2 पॉइंट डिस्कस करे. लेट मी कम टू द थर्ड पॉइंट. द क्रोनोलॉजी शुड बी सीमलेस. ऐसे नहीं कभी कोई डेट, कभी कोई डेट, कभी कोई इवेंट, इन अ हैपैजेड मैनर. हमने क्या देखा है, जो ऑर्डर्स आते हैं एडजुडिकेशन ऑर्डर, उनमें सबसे पहले तो शो कॉज नोटिस को रिप्रोड्यूस किया जाता है, फिर सारी की सारी जो सबमिशंस होती हैं एसएससी की, उनको रिप्रोड्यूस किया जाता है, और मेरे ख्याल से 60-70 पन्ने भरने के बाद सिर्फ 1 या 1.5 या 2 पन्ने आपके डिसीजन के होते हैं. सर, दैट इज एक्चुअली शोइंग that in the entire 72 pages, efforts were not even for 1.5 page. So that application of mind is restricted only to that 1.5 page. You have to focus on that 1.5 page vis-a-vis your reply and show cause notice. What is the problem in most of the cases? जब भी हम adjudication के लिए जाते हैं या अपील के लिए जाते हैं, हमारा माइंडसेट जो है एक चार्टर्ड अकाउंटेंट का, वो एक स्क्रूटनी की तरह उसे डील करता है, जैसे वो इनकम टैक्स की स्क्रूटनी उसे डील करता है, या जैसे वो वैट की असेसमेंट कराता था कि मुझे ये प्रूव करना है कि मैं सही. सर, शो कॉज नोटिस adjudication, appellate in GST is not merely that you are right. It is one part of the entire thing, entire journey. The other points that what is the fallacy, what is the problem with the show cause or with the order is also something which you need to see. So be very, very clear. Order should take care that it should not load it with legal knowledge of the subject. And what happens is, if you look into any show cause notice, there will be plethora, maybe some 10-15 pages, 10-15 पेज केवल आपके सेक्शन रेप्लिकेट कर दिए जाते. What is the fun, sir? The पूरे का पूरा जो शो कॉज बनाने का तरीका है उसमें हर सेक्शन को आपने कैसे अप्लाई करा. मेरी तो देयर आर 4 C's. नासिन की एक बहुत अच्छी पब्लिकेशन है शो कॉज नोटिस पे. They have said there has to be 4 C's in an effective show cause notice. First, the charging person. आपने show cause notice किस पे इशू. Number 2, the charge. किस सेक्शन किस प्रावधान के अंदर आप उस पर प्रोसीड करना चाहते हैं. नंबर 3, कॉन्ट्रावेंशन. उस सेक्शन की क्या चीज कॉन्ट्रावीन करी है इस असेसमेंट. एंड नंबर 4, कॉन्सिक्वेंसेस. उस कॉन्ट्रावेंशन के क्या कॉन्सिक्वेंसेस होंगे. ये 4 C's आर रिक्वायर्ड फॉर अ इफेक्टिव हियरिंग. इफ दीज आर नॉट देयर, then that is not an effective show cause notice, and this will be taken as a appellate ground also. Now, after the arguments are completed, the Honorable Supreme Court has against, in that particular decision of Saheli leasing, it has said that endeavor should be made to pronounce the judgment at the earliest. More importantly, in many of the judgments, in one of the cases of by Honorable Delhi High Court also, number 1, the authority who has taken the hearing should be the same authority who is passing the order. If the authority changes, the hearing has to be given again to the appellant or the noticee. Number 2, it has to be within a reasonable period. It cannot be that after 1 year, 2 years, you are passing the order from the date of hearing. And in many cases, the honorable courts have held that after 10 years of notice, you cannot pass an order. This is relatable to the prior era. It is not in the current era because GST में तो date of order आपका बाध्य कर दिया गया है. अगर date of order पार हुआ from 3 years or 5 years from the due date of filing of annual return, the demand limitation lapses. Demand की limitation ही खत्म हो जाएगी अगर ऑर्डर एक भी दिन लेट होता है तो. सो 3 महीने जो है वो एक सेंसिबल पीरियड बताया गया कि 3 महीने के अंदर आपको अपना ऑर्डर पास करना चाहिए. नाउ व्हाट पॉइंट्स यू शुड टेक इन योर अपील very quickly in next 10 minutes and then we'll go to the question. Number 1, challenge in respect of jurisdiction should be seen. Number 1, jurisdiction which can be a territorial, monetary or statutory. Territorial, पता चला भिवाड़ी के ऑफिसर ने पानीपत के एक एसएससी पे एक ऑर्डर पास कर दिया. नॉट पॉसिबल. ही विल हैव टू हैव दैट टेरिटोरियल जुरिस्डिक्शन. मॉनेटरी जुरिस्डिक्शन, मॉनेटरी जुरिस्डिक्शन सेंट्रल टैक्स में है, स्टेट टैक्स में बहुत स्टेट्स में नहीं दी गई. सेंट्रल टैक्स में बट उन्होंने मॉनेटरी जुरिस्डिक्शन दी है कि सुपरिटेंडेंट इससे ऊपर के ऑर्डर पास नहीं कर सकते. आपके असिस्टेंट कमिश्नर 1 करोड़ से ऊपर नहीं कर सकते और एडिशनल कमिश्नर्स के पास तो अनलिमिटेड पावर्स है. सो दोस पर्टिकुलर लिमिट्स हैव बीन गिवन. 50 lakhs, 2 crores and above. 3 brackets have been made. So that is also to be seen that monetary limits, do they survive? And number 3, statutory. Are you the proper officer to pass the order under the statute? If you are not, then that particular jurisdiction can also be challenged. So territorial, monetary, statutory, all the 3 jurisdictions need to be seen. Number 2, whether the principles of natural justice, have they been followed? Audio alterum partem, effective hearing. Have you heard the person? It is a reasoned speaking order. If it has been, the service was proper. If these all are in place, the most importantly, आपके शो कॉज नोटिस के साथ क्या रिलाइड अपॉन डॉक्यूमेंट्स दिए गए थे आपको. आपको क्या क्रॉस एग्जामिनेशन अगर आपने एडजुडिकेशन के टाइम पे मांगी थी, क्या मिली आपको? अगर ये सब चीजें मिसिंग है तो आपके पास केवल एपेलेट जुरिसडिक्शन और प्रिंसिपल ऑफ नेचुरल जस्टिस और इन्फ्रिंजमेंट ऑफ फंडामेंटल राइट्स, इन केसेस में आप अपील के अलावा सीधा हाई कोर्ट को भी अप्रोच कर सकते हैं, और व्हेन देयर इज नो अपील अवेलेबल अगेंस्ट अ पर्टिकुलर ऑर्डर, सो इन केसेस में आप सीधा रिट जुरिसडिक्शन भी ट्रिगर कर सकते हैं. You don't need to stick with the appellate proceedings. But my dear friends, usually what happens in writ jurisdiction, if it is on the grounds of principles of natural justice, leave about jurisdiction, everything will get quashed. But if it is on principles of natural justice, the order might get quashed and will be sent back to the adjudicating authority. So please look into very effectively where you need to make an appeal, where you need to go for a writ. Rule of law, as the rule of law being followed by the officer, or is he? So in one of the cases, again, what I just spoke of, ऑफिसर ने कहा कि ये जीएसटी के अंदर आपका रिफंड नहीं बनता, ये कस्टम्स में बनता है. सर, अंडर व्हाट प्रोविजन? You have to tell me that under this particular provision the refund is not available under GST but under the Customs Act. If you are not giving it so, then in that particular case that is against the rule of law. There is no law, there is no provision which has been quoted, and therefore these orders will not sustain. Let me refrain myself from one more thing, question of law versus question of fact, but let us go into the other aspects of appeal. One point which has to be seen very, very carefully, though I have spoken about the adjournment, मैं आपसे एक चीज और उसमें कहना चाहूंगा. आप जब कॉन्डोनेशंस फाइल करते हैं, हम कॉन्डोनेशंस को बड़ा लाइटली फाइल कर देते हैं कि सर देयर हैज बीन अ डिले ऑफ 15 days, काइंडली कॉन्डोन. आपकी कॉन्डोनेशन में द रूल इज दैट एवरी डे ऑफ डिले हैज टू बी एक्सप्लेन्ड. If a person is hospitalized, from what date to what date, who was the person, what was his importance in this particular case, was he a signatory or was a person who is in possession of the data or information which were instrumental in this particular appeal. All these things have to be put into the right place. It cannot be that a general statement has been given that the accountant was having fever and therefore kindly condone 15 days. Sir, fever might be for 3 days, 4 days. 15 days condonation may not be granted in those particular cases and may not sustain. And there cannot be, some professions also are in a habit, condonation application एक ही बना के रखते हैं और हर एसएससी में लगा देते हैं. Sir, like you always like to be served in a la carte, a unique prepared dish. Same is the case when you would like to go to a doctor and he does not give you a pre-printed प्रिस्क्रिप्शन. आप जाएंगे तो आप चाहते हैं कि भी आपकी बीमारी के लिए आपका प्रिस्क्रिप्शन दे. अगर वो आपको एक प्री प्रिंटेड प्रिस्क्रिप्शन दे देगा कि यार जुकाम सा ही लग रहा है तुम्हें, अभी पिछले वाले को ही दिया था, उसकी फोटोकॉपी दे दो इनको, हाउ विल यू फील? Similarly, you can't do this unjust act with your client. You will have to see the circumstances, make a particular appeal, particular condonation for your client. So I think I have spoken much. I have taken a lot of time. Members, I'm grateful that as always you've given me a patient hearing, and my moderator has been kind not to intervene and not to tell me time and again that I'm going off track. So I'm very grateful to every one of you. Let us take question answers, and yes, NIRC as always, the initiatives taken by our regional NIRC are, I think, wonderful, and it gives an opportunity for all of us to learn, including me. So Payal ji, let's take up question answers and then we conclude with your permission, since
Yes,
no
sir.
issues are there.
Thank you, sir. So the next question is, in some cases, the officer demanded CGST and SGST, but later on at the time of assessment, officer demanded IGST. Outward and ITC liability can it be done? Will it?
See, I was demanded CNS. My order says I. Order travels beyond my show cause notice. It will not survive. You can take it in appeal. You can go for a writ. In both the cases, this order will not survive.
So next question is, any common ground taken in case of condonation of delay?
राम जी, आई थिंक हम अभी यही बात करके उठे हैं, प्रिस्क्रिप्शन की फोटो कॉपीज नहीं बेचेंगे। आप हर मरीज का इलाज यूनिकली करेंगे, उसकी बीमारी को देखते
So next question is, can we pay the pre-deposit from ITC available?
हैं। Yes, we can pay the pre-deposit from the ITC, though there was one conflicting judgment. I remember Honorable Justice. That was one conflicting judgment. Otherwise, every judgment, Bombay High Court is in your favor. I think this is reality. All judgments are in your favor, and the law is very clear. See, why am I paying a pre-deposit? Because I'm paying it towards my output tax, and ITC can be used for the payment of my output tax, or ITC which is wrongly availed. So in both the cases, ITC can be used for reversal or payment of the tax, and pre-deposit can be made by using electronic credit ledger.
So next question is whether the 3 hearing is mandatory in DRC 01.
3 hearings mandatory. See, it is not mandatory. Again, please understand, the proviso says that not more than 3 adjournments can be given. So it is not putting a number to the hearing. If the hearing can be concluded in 1 hearing, तो उसको खत्म करिए. But अगर आपको लगता है आपको adjournment चाहिए, आपको एक valid reason देना पड़ेगा for the adjournment, for the time you need for the adjournment, and the officer, at the discretion of the officer, adjournment can be given to you, but not more than 3 adjournments. Please read it in a positive manner as a restriction rather than a right कि मेरा 3 hearing मेरा right है. But हाँ, अगर आप adjournment मांग रहे हैं, चलिए आपने इतना ही कह दिया कि sir I'm not prepared. Maybe for 1 hearing he will definitely give you that particular liberty. He will have to give you that liberty. Sir, I have been appointed as a counsel. Kindly grant me 10 days to go through the matter. You will be given those 10 days. If he gives you a hearing within next 2 days, you say, sir, I have already requested कि मैंने पिछले में रिक्वेस्ट किया था कि मुझे 10 दिन चाहिए इस मैटर के साइज को देखते हुए, तो कृपया मुझे 10 दिन देने दीजिए, तो आपको जो सेकंड अब एडजर्नमेंट दी जाएगी वो 8 दिन के बाद दी जाएगी. So look at it from this perspective rather than a number game merely in terms of hearings.
The next question is, in case of e-invoice not generated and there is a provision to raise a penalty rupees 25k, but the department penalized 25k each under the head CGST, SGST and IGST, shall it be valid?
See, 25k जो है वो एक एक्ट में लिखा हुआ है, and it is replicated in all the acts. So by virtue of that replication, if the violation of e-invoice is under all the 3 acts, the penalty will be valid. But yes, you have every right to contest that. See, there is no loss to the revenue. I have paid my taxes, and you will have to show a valid reason why the e-invoicing was not complied with. तो वो चीज आप प्लीज ध्यान रखिएगा. अगर आपके पास एक वैलिड रीजन है, the penalty can be contested.
So next question is whether the commissioner appeal having demand increase, whether he can increase the demand.
When I think this topic I have already spoken.
Yes.
We can skip this question.
Yes, sir. Next question is whether the issues closed in 73 can be reopened in 74.
सर, मेरा तो हम्बल व्यू ये है कि अगर ASMT 12 में भी कोई इशू क्लोज हो गया है, तो वो 73 और 74 में रीओपन नहीं हो सकता, और 73 का तो पक्का कोई भी इशू 74 में रीओपन नहीं हो सकता. देयर कैन नॉट बी अ रीजन टू चेंज एन ओपिनियन. आपका केवल चेंज ऑफ ओपिनियन हो रहा है, उसके कारण किसी की डिमांड नहीं कंफर्म की जा सकती.
Right, sir. So next question is, if first application appellate authority has remanded back the refund application RFT 01 to
Sorry. First appellate authority cannot remand back the thing. I've already spoken on the decision of the Kronos. First appellate authority, sir, cannot remand back. Please, it's written in law. Cannot be remanded back.
So next question is whether DRI and E and DGI has power to issue SCA.
I think we will have to divide this question in two parts, whether DRI has a power and DGGI has a power. DRI will be in the customs cases and DGGI will be in the GST matters. DRI, Canon India, already a precedent we have from Honorable Supreme Court. They don't have the power, and that is because in cases of reassessment of the bill of entry, it is only the adjudicating authority who is the proper officer to reassess a bill of entry. So DRI cannot take on that particular power. But that particular logic will not apply on DGGI, because DGGI, the show cause notice can be issued by any proper officer who has been notified under the provisions of the Act. And those particular authorities will include DGI, because DGI has been notified as a proper authority under Section 3(4). The only question comes in terms of jurisdictional challenge. The All India jurisdiction has been granted to DGGI. DGGI को All India jurisdiction दी गई है. However, having said so, corresponding, so Jagjeet ji is also with us. Jagjeet ji, very good evening. DGGI
Good evening, sir. Gaurav sir.
Good evening.
Thank you.
So 1 minute और लूंगा जगदीश जी. I think we are closing the questions and then definitely the stage is yours. So DGGI की जो problem दो angles पे आती है. Number one, the first question which need to be tested before courts: can there be two proper officers for one single assessee? When very specifically even the cross jurisdiction has been granted and restriction in terms of center or state infringing the jurisdiction of the other proper officer has been restricted by the courts. And number two, under Section 6, there is a corresponding sharing of power which need to happen. तो अगर आप स्टेट के किसी भी ऑफिसर को जुरिस्डिक्शन दी गई है तो उसकी corresponding power वो सेंटर की ड्रॉ कर लेते हैं. And vice versa. If DGGI is taking a all India jurisdictional power, to which state officer is such corresponding cross jurisdiction shared with? So I'm speaking my mind out today. These are the questions which are already framed, but which are yet to be tested before the court of law in terms of jurisdiction of DGGI. So I think I'll restrict myself on this.
So next question is, ineligible ITC is shown separately, separate reversal in GSTR 3B. If not done, the notice is coming. Please provide your feedback. Although we have not claimed the ineligible ITC.
See, if you have not claimed any ineligible ITC, but you have not shown the reversal separately. So what the notice is wanting to say that you should have taken the ITC and shown it in the reversal. Sir, I have not taken it at the outset. And under Section 73, a notice can be issued only in case of wrong availment or utilization, which is neither of the cases. And therefore, the show cause notice is infructuous, void in terms of Section 73.
So next question is regarding the availment of ITC. We are taking ITC in 3B on goods in transit in the month of billing done by supplier and on the basis of 2B, but we have not been utilizing it till the month we receive the goods. Kindly let us know whether this is okay, or as Section 16 says, availment, whether action AO can take.
I am not very clear if whosoever has asked the question, if he can be given or she can be given a option to speak this question, explain this, I'll be in a better position to explain.
This question is asked by Mr. Ravinder Bajaj. Sir, you can unmute and you can ask your question. Mr. Ravinder Bajaj ji. Sir, please unmute and ask.
We proceed.
Yes, sir. So the next question is, can the notice under section 73 be issued twice on a different issues? If no, can the officer invoke 74 after 73?
I think the second question is already answered. No, it cannot be. On the same issue, it cannot be. On different issues, there is no restriction under the law. But again, it should not be arising out of the same proceedings. So from one proceedings, one show cause notice should arise. That is my humble position. But yes, if something new facts come to the knowledge of the department, 73 or 74 proceedings can definitely be undertaken again.
Next question is, any update on amnesty scheme? What to pre-deposits considering that?
I think that is too early a question to be asked from any professional. This is to be asked to one of the persons who is in the center of the affairs. So I'll skip this.
Yes, sir. Demand raised by DRC 07. Now we want to pay tax to
Payalji,
avoid
we
interest.
close after this question. Huh? I
Yes,
understand
sir.
there are, I don't know how many questions are left, but let's close after this question, please.
Yes, sir, sure. So the question is, demand raised by DRC 07. Now we want to pay tax to avoid interest and also file appeal. Is it possible to pay full tax while filing an appeal and later on claim the refund of such tax paid? Point is just to save interest.
I think, see, that is a very sensible question, which is being asked for only by a practitioner who has a couple of years of experience. He understands that his case is not so strong, but he still want to take or test that particular those points before the authority. So yes, definitely you can go for a pre-deposit higher than what is prescribed. But I'll just keep one thing open to before you. Sir, do keep this thing in mind that the systems are very rigid in terms of GST, and today they don't take DRC deposits as allowed pre-deposit at the time of filing. So कल को इतना पैसा आप सेकेंड स्टेज के लिए जरूर रखिएगा कि वो 20% आप रखिएगा. अदरवाइज अगर वो 20% नहीं हुआ और आपकी अपील फाइल नहीं हो पाई टेक्निकल रीजंस के ग्राउंड पे, यू माइट बी फेसिंग अननेसेसरी पेन इन दो सर्कमस्टांसेस कि पहले हाई कोर्ट जाए, ओपन करवाएं, फिर उसके बाद फाइल करें. Just avoid that scenario. Otherwise, I think if you want to keep that as a sensible policy, please do, but do write to the authorities कि आप ऐसी कोई position ले रहे.
So the questions are over now. So we are thankful to you for such a long deliberation and the very fruitful and useful deliberation. Now over to the NIRC officials.
So
Thank
Jagjeet
you,
ji is
CS
our
Payal Kataria
speaker
ji.
member.
हाँ, of course, Gaurav ji.
Sir,
Thank you, Payal ji, and thank you, Gaurav Gupta ji, very learned speaker. In the field of GST, जब भी हम GST के बारे में नाम लेते हैं, GST के issues की बात करते हैं, whether we talk about refund, whether we talk about ITC or appeal matters, so always दिमाग में जो नाम आता है गौरव गुप्ता जी. तो हमारे गौरव जी ऑफ कोर्स इतना कंट्रीब्यूशन है इनका हमारे प्रोफेशन में. सो ऑलवेज थैंकफुल टू गौरव जी फॉर योर प्रीशियस टाइम, योर the knowledge which you are sharing with the present member, your experience which you have already taken from your professional life. So always thanks to you on behalf of all the NIRC members, the team members, and of course the present member. And thank you, Payal Kataria ji, for moderating this session, because in the absence of Mr. Kamaljeet Singh, so you are handling this part. So thank you for your joining and of course doing these type of things for the benefit of members. And of course now the Pavan ji, जो chairman of Rewari branch है, so Pavan ji, thank you to you also. And एक चीज और फॉर्मली थोड़ा सा मैं पहले शेयर कर दूं, सर्टिफिकेट विच एज अ टोकन ऑफ लव फ्रॉम द साइड ऑफ NIRC. So Gaurav bhai, this is for you, for your
thank you.
of course
Thank you,
your contribution. ऑलवेज सर, हमारा सौभाग्य रहता है कि गौरव जी को सुनना. तो आज मैं कहीं मीटिंग में था, सो दैट इज वाई मैं पूरा नहीं सुन पाया गौरव भाई को. बट डेफिनेटली गौरव भाई, व्हेन यू विल बी अवेलेबल नेक्स्ट टाइम, सो आई विल ट्राई टू मैनेज माय शेड्यूल अकॉर्डिंग टू योर अवेलेबिलिटी.
Please, sir.
And this is Pavan ji for you, the chairman of Rewari branch, for
Thank you,
your
sir.
as a coordinator of this webinar. And this is for Payal Kataria ji, CS Payal Kataria ji, for as a moderator working in the with the NIRC for this particular program. So now it's a time to close, and thank you all the present member for joining this webinar, because जब आप join करते हैं तो हमें एक energy मिलती है, हमें एक yes रहता है कि members program को सुनते हैं और members के benefit के लिए whatever the information we are sharing, we are discussing, so that is for the best, for the betterment of the profession and professional as well. So thank you for joining, and definitely we have another day on, that is on 6th May, and the speaker would be CA Ayush Sarafji. So he will take the topic on crucial aspects of the search and seizure in the GST. So stay tuned with us, and thank you everyone for your joining, for your precious time in this webinar.
Thank you everyone.
Thank you everyone.
Thank you, sir. Thank you, sir.